first run we had issues with the clutch. It bogged a little bit on us, and you know, we really needed our second round run today. We needed that yesterday. But all in all, a good day. I think the first round we were 5th fastest of the round. Second round we were 2nd fastest of the round. So we have a good bike going into tomorrow. So you know, that's what you want. You want to finish up the day on a good note. You want to have a good light and a fast bike. So when you go to bed at night, you're not thinking, oh man, this, that, or the other thing. So our junior Pippin Trucking Piranha Z Buell is ready to do battle tomorrow.
Junior was really proud of the high mile an hour yesterday. I assume because of today's headwind, no one eclipsed that. You probably still have high mile an hour, is that right?
Yeah, we ran 198.35 miles an hour yesterday, which is our best on this new EBR 1190 RX body. So we're really tickled with that, and we're making progress. You know, we're trying stuff that nobody's trying, and I don't really care to discuss what that is, but I can tell you it's some cool stuff that we're working on, and we're struggling a little bit with it. And although we're struggling, our bike's still fast, so once we get it figured out, it's really going to be fast.
Struggling in testing mode and having the second quickest ET in today's final round, and having the high mile an hour for the weekend going into race day is pretty good for testing mode.
Yeah, and you know, like I said, every run we learn, and you know, we're just you know, trying to make the bike better. You know, we're learning every run, and we take that data back to the shop, give it to the guys at the shop. Our engine builder Brad Moore's doing a great job with cylinder heads and assembly. My crew chief Lon Moyer, I call him the pride of PA, Pennsylvania, for those of y'all that don't know. But he's doing an awesome job tuning this thing, and we're getting a lot of help from a lot of good people. Kobe Adams from Adams Performance is helping us out quite a bit with his knowledge and his facility there in North Carolina. And we've had some help from Lonnie Roberts Auto Service with the beautiful paint job these guys did on this. My buddy Andy Duncan, you know, we did it in a day, and getting a lot of compliments on it. I'm just really excited about this year. You know, as long as I've been racing pro stock, I feel like this is the best motorcycle that I've ever had, and that's a lot to be said for as many of these bikes as I've ridden.
I'll say, including the one on the shirt that I'm wearing, which was known to be a pretty sweet piece in its time.
Yeah, this thing right here, it's I don't know what it is about it. You know, it's a Cosman chassis. It's an older one, and this thing, I don't know what it is, man. It's just a sweet bike. You know, I watch people go down the racetrack and they struggle, they're getting out of shape, and it seems like no matter what I do, you know, even with the crosswinds that we've had here this weekend, this thing has sailed right straight down through there every run, and it's a pleasure to ride it, and I'm happy that I'm the guy that gets to ride it.
Good. And you've ridden a lot of different things. I mean, you've even drag raced boats. I don't know what else you might have done outside of the two things I know about you doing. Drag racing motorcycles and drag racing boats, but tell us a little bit about the different motorcycles that I've seen you race over the years, just the general categories.
Well, I don't think you've ever seen me race motocross, but that, you know, I did that for a while, and actually even ran a motocross race last year in the 30+ class. So I enjoy motorcycles, period, whether it's mopeds to all the way to a funny bike. I'm just a two-wheel kind of guy. I've been successful in 600 Super Sport, which is basically, for you road racing guys, the same as a 600 road racing bike set up for drag racing. And the way we do that is we lower it, we put a lot of gear on it, and you know, I tell people all the time, I think that's what really helped me in pro stock motorcycle.
Eddie Krawick says the same thing. Yeah,
because there's, you know, back then we had 105 horsepower, and you had to utilize that horsepower as best you could, and that's what we have here. You know, we're all pretty much have the same horsepower, and you know,
just how much these days, give or take, ballpark figure?
You know, it depends on the dyno, but they're all in between 375 and 400 horsepower, I would say.
Right.
But these machines, they're very high tech. You know.
Yeah.
It takes a guy like my crew chief, Lon Moyer, to tune this thing with our Motec fuel injection to get all we can get out of it. And, you know, it takes perfect runs. We don't have a next corner to make up time in. You know, we're racing down to thousandths of a second. Angele and I raced today, and she beat me by 6 thousandths of a second, you know. And, it's just tough out here. I mean, this is a brutal world to live in. It really is. I mean, you're laughing, and I'm not laughing because I'm serious, you know. But we're having a great time. I really enjoy riding for Mr. Pippin, and we're having fun. But I guess back to my original question, just because I'm babbling on.
No, that's okay. You're doing good. You're
I've
doing
ridden
good.
600 Super Sport, all the Top Gas, Super Gas, all those, you know, coming up. And I really enjoy riding fast street bikes. I think it takes a lot of skill. With today's technology, I don't think it's like it was back in the day when I was riding them. You know, with all the electronics, with the ride height control and, you know, wheelie control and all the stuff they have. Back when I was doing it, it was old school. You know, you had to ride the thing, and
your seat of your pants was your sensor, and your hands were your traction control, throttle control, and clutch control, and everything else.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun back then. You know, I raced a lot with Kobe Adams from Adams Performance, and we were successful. I've been very fortunate that whatever I've done in drag racing, I've been pretty successful, and I attribute that to the people that I've surrounded myself with. You know, I've just been very blessed to be with good people.
So let's draw a couple of comparisons here real quick. You talked about this being very high tech, and certainly the electronics and everything that are applied to it are high tech, but there's a guy, I can't think of his name right now. He's out of Daytona, Carl Speed Shop. Carl, can't think of Carl's last name. But he's an old-time Harley guy, and he explained to me one time, he said, Tim, this is like making your compressor run fast.
Right. It is. I mean, these engines they're air compressors. You know, you got to get it in, you got to get it out, and you got to be able to burn it, and you got to be able to, you know, suck, bang, blow, baby. That's what this is all about.
Yeah.
You know,
and the V10 configuration is very similar to a compressor.
Yes. Exactly.
So then, you know, so on the surface, this looks very simple compared to something like Steve Rice's funny bike that you used to ride back in the day.
This bike is much more sophisticated than Steve's bike was. Actually, my crew chief Lon Moyer and I were talking about that the other day, about the mechanical injection that he had it on back then, which now we have electronic injection. But that bike was an amazing piece back then. It still is today, an amazing piece, way ahead of its time. I mean, he was using the Kawasaki ZX11 motor. The thing was 1100 cc's, and we ran 229 miles an hour in a quarter mile at that thing. You know, it was turbocharged, injected on alcohol, and it was a beast. And I just wish, you know, that I know now, or knew then what I know now, especially about how to tune a clutch and how this stuff works. That thing really could have been fast. I mean, we went 650 back in 2001, you know, and it seems like a long time ago, and I guess it was a long time ago. But, you know, there again, you know, we won the championships, and surrounded myself with great people, you know.
You went down on that bike one time, is that right?
I did. In 1999, when I first started riding it, we were testing out in Arizona, and I just, I thought I was better than I was, and I learned real quick I wasn't that good. But,
you ran out of talent in one moment.
Yeah, I ran out of talent.
Tell me about the crash. Where
we were testing in Tucson, Arizona. It was the NHRA test. Stands were packed just like you were at an NHRA race. Yeah.
Really?
And the bike, I think, had only been in the sixes once. And on my second run, I went like 7 flat. So I thought, oh yeah, I got this thing. And man, I took off. I passed the 8th mile at about 170 miles an hour, and the thing just rolled over on me, you know. And I figured I was probably running somewhere around 190 when I came off the thing. But the Lord was with me that day. It was the weirdest thing ever, and I can still see it clear as day. When I started to crash, a voice in my head just said, relax, you know, and I relaxed. I tumbled one time, and then I just slid a long way. And,
Sliding's the way to go if you're lucky enough to do it.
Yeah, I slid, and it was a beautiful day. The sky was blue. I was just looking at the sky, sliding.
No back protector in those days,
no,
right?
man, I had my 600 Super Sport leathers on. I didn't have any padding at all, you know, and my Bates leather saved me that day.
Very good. Yeah, when Chris Hand came off his fuel bike, he had a back protector in, but even with that, he was like you. He was sliding along on his back, and he said he started getting hot, so he rolled himself over to cook the other side.
Yeah, no, I just, you know, I just spread my legs and my arms out, you know, and just tried to lay flat, and that's what I did, and it apparently worked. So, I mean, I didn't get hurt, and we tore the heck out of the bike, though, you know. They had to go back to Cosman and get front half and whatnot, so.
And any idea what caused the rollover?
Well, we sent a video to Terry Kaiser, and some guys looked at it, and I think the real reality of it is we just had a bad tire.
Okay.
You know, they said the frame was twisted and whatnot, but I think it was just a bad tire.
That was back in the Chili tire days, and we were getting
we're getting tires out of Chile and whatnot. Yeah. Even after that, the bike would do that to me, and I learned how to fix it. And the only way you could fix it is you just had to put your foot down and upright the thing and keep on going. You know, and it sounds crazy.
Wait a minute, foot onto the ground to upright it?
Yeah, you would just stomp your foot on the ground and it uprighted and keep on going. So.
Wow.
But that thing was a pretty cool piece.
Now, and then I saw you then probably shortly after that at the Gainesville opener, and here you were. I felt bad for you because you were still a little bit spooked by that bike that weekend.
Look,
I
was spooked by that bike for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, literally at Gainesville in 2000, I thought I was gonna die. But I wasn't going to quit, you know.
Right.
I was going to die trying, and that's the honest to God's truth.
Right.
I mean, I was terrified, and, you know, I see people posting stuff online. You got to get back at your own pace, and I worked my way into it, and it just became, you know, it became a natural thing, but it took a while.
I remember feeling bad for you because you were the defending Super Sport champion, and you weren't able to enjoy it because you had made this leap, which turned out to be, of course, the right thing. Because you're here now, and maybe, you know, maybe had you not jumped into all the things that led to with Kawasaki and all that, who knows what you'd be doing right now. But I felt bad that you couldn't enjoy your championship as a defending champion because you were fraught with this.
Well, you know, that year was the last year of 600 Super Sport.
Yeah.
I was the last 600 Super Sport champion, and I was the last Formula Superbike champion. So.
Yeah.
But you know, man, everything happens for a reason, Tim, and I really do believe that. You know, I've raced with the best teams out here in NHRA. I've raced with Vance and Hines. I've raced with Star Racing, raced with Schumacher, and now I'm racing with Mr. Pippin. And it's just been an amazing thing. And if it wasn't for my wife, Kathy, I wouldn't be out here, man. She's kept me grounded, and she's an awesome woman, and she stands behind me 100%. Honestly, I haven't been home for 3 years, pretty much. You know, I took time when I left Vance and Hines, went out in the oil field, and, you know, made a bunch of money, but I was gone 3 months at a time. I'd come home for a month or for a couple weeks and then be back. And then this deal came about, and in the past year, I've probably been home maybe 3 or 4 times. So she's home taking care of everything, taking care of our daughter Mackenzie, and I'm out here just living it up, man.
Working hard is what you're doing.
I am working hard, I promise you that. This deal's a lot of work. I mean, you know, with us a small team, and we don't have a Harley budget, you know. I have myself and Lon and Brad back at the shop, and we do the best we can with what we have, and we work a lot of long hours. I mean, it's 15, 16-hour days every day, all day, 7 days a week, you know.
If I'm not mistaken, I heard Lon I heard today say that your trailer is the last one to close its door every night.
Yeah, but the Blake Ritter and Jimmy Underdahl, they beat us last night at that. So and it usually is, because we work hard. You know, I've never been with a team like these guys, with Lon and Brad and everything. When we get back to the shop, everything comes apart, and we literally look at every part of this motorcycle under a microscope, literally. And it's not an exaggeration, it's not just saying. Every piece of this engine is looked at under the microscope, and we do the best we can, you know, with the stuff that we have to go as fast as we can.
Do you have a daily rider bike?
Yeah, I do, but I don't get to ride it because we're working so much. But for a street bike, I have a Buell. What is that thing I have? 1125R.
Right.
And
did you get that from Junior?
Yes, I did.
Because I remember Junior back when Buell shut their doors, and Harley, they were selling dirt cheap, and he bought a few of them, and he gave it to me, and I think I put 200 miles on it last year. And for dirt bikes, you know, I have two of them. I have a KTM 450 and a Kawasaki KX 250F, and then my wife and daughter both have TTR 125 Yamahas. So, you know, we get out and ride as much as we can. And Kathy used to race when I first met you.
Yes, Kathy did used to race. She ran 600 Super Sport, and she did good. And I remember in 07, we went to Gainesville for the AMA race, and we took my ZX14, which was all stock other than just lowered with a pipe, and not Super Sport stock, just stock. And I said, Kathy, why don't you go ahead and ride, and me and Mackenzie will sit in the stands and watch you. And I think my daughter Mackenzie was about 6 at that time. And that was one of the coolest things I did, because she was riding the wheels off that thing. I mean, short, stock wheelbase, foot shifting, she was going 10-0s, 150 miles an hour, hanging the wheel through third gear, and it was amazing. And she hadn't ridden since, well, that was 2007. She hadn't ridden since 99 or 2000, so that was a lot of fun. And I think she kind of misses riding a little bit here and there, but
she's got a good competitive spirit.
She does, and she's a good girl.
And Mackenzie is she competes in horse.
Yeah, she does hunter jumper, and she won the state championship in Indiana 2 years ago. I think last year she finished third, maybe second. I don't know. She does really, really good though, and she's like her mom and dad. She's dedicated to it. I mean, she rides at least 6 days a week, and she would ride 7 days a week if she didn't feel bad for, you know, giving her horse a break. But it's really amazing.
All right, it's been an amazing conversation. Great reliving a lot of stuff.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, we're just like rolling down memory lane.
All right, great talking to you. Good luck tomorrow.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it, buddy.
All right, Chip, tell me about your day.
Well, I think we had a pretty good day. It was a tough day, not just for me, but for the pro stock motorcycle class in general. The wind today, it was insane. I don't think not one wind came out of the left lane because of the wind. I mean, you pass the stands right there, and you're in trouble. And that's what happened to us. I mean, Jerry had me a little bit on the light, but we had already been back ahead of him by almost 300ths by the time we got to half track. And at 1,000 foot, I still had him by 300ths, but at 6.2, I had to let out. But when I say 6.2, I mean 6.2 seconds.
Of course.
Run.
Yep.
So, you know, overall, we had a good weekend. We struggled a little bit the first day of qualifying, but I think the second day we did good, and I'm really pleased with how we ended up this weekend. We could have been better, but we certainly could have been worse.
Yeah, that first round, in fact, Junior and I were just watching it on TV, and yeah, bike after bike gets right up there on the white line over on the left-hand side.
Yeah, I was hanging off the bike so far, the right side of the bike there, in the semifinals, that I literally could not see where I was going and had to look around the motorcycle to see where I was going. Therefore, my judgment was off on how close I was to the wall. But I feel like I did the right thing by letting out, being able to bring the bike back to the pits in one piece, and not scratching up Mr. Pippen's new paint job.
What's the next race?
Next race is Norwalk.
And what do you think? What do you think about that?
I'm excited, ready to go. I think we did good this weekend. We had a motorcycle capable of winning that race, but what we really needed to do was do what Angel did and stay in that right lane. And unfortunately, that wasn't the case. We didn't get lane choice, so Jerry had lane choice, and we got blown around. But that's just the way it is sometimes, you know. You got to take what you're dealt and do the best you can with it.
The equipment lived pretty well this weekend?
Yeah, everything's still running when I shut it off down there at the big end. So we'll drive through the night, get back to the shop tomorrow, and get everything torn apart, and see where we're at for Norwalk.
Put everything under the microscope.
Absolutely.
Who do you want to thank?
Obviously the first person would be Junior Pippin, and then the second guys would be the guys at Competition Engine Services, Lawnmower, my crew chief, and Brad Moore, my engine builder, Scott and Matt at the shop for all they do to help us get to the races, and Adam's Performance, he's always there, best buddy, helps us out any way he can, and Barana Z obviously for supporting us as much as they do, and I'm just happy to be here, man.